Human embryo development. Extended study. Learning objectives list the sequence of development of an embryo. Explain the term fertilized egg. Explain the term blastocyst. Explain the term amnion. Explain how the placenta is formed. Explain how the embryo develops up to the 3rd month of gestation. Sequence of development from fertilized egg. Early stages. Sequence of development from fertilized egg. The zygote contains 46 chromosomes, 23 from the egg and 23 from the sperm. It divides rapidly by mitosis to produce 2 cells, then 4, then 8, 16 etc. and continues to divide. At this point the developing individual is referred to as the morula. Around 5 days after fertilization the morula forms a hollow ball of cells called the blastocyst. The outer layer of the blastocyst forms the trophoblast. The outer layer of the blastocyst forms the trophoblast. This will later develop into the layer of membranes that surround the embryo, placenta and amnion. Trophoblast, the inner cells, called the inner cell mass, of the blastocyst will eventually form the embryo. These cells are not yet specialized. They have a phenomenal ability to differentiate, divide to give rise to many different types of tissue. Inner cell mass, stem cells. Huge research potential to renew or repair damaged body parts. Learning check how many chromosomes in a fertilized egg. Is a fertilized egg haploid or diploid? What is the developing individual referred to when it is made up of 8 cells? What is it referred to after a number of days? What is unusual about the cells of the inner cell mass? The morula/blastocyst is pushed along the fallopian tube until it enters the uterus. Here it will implant into the uterus wall. Here it will implant into the uterus wall. The endometrium now provides nourishment for the developing blastocyst. Connections with the mother will begin to form, placenta and umbilical cord. This point marks the beginning of pregnancy. Sequence of development from fertilized egg. Development of the embryo. About 10 days after fertilization the inner cell mass forms the embryonic disc. This usually consists of 3 layers called germ layers. Ectoderm, outside. Mesoderm, middle. Endoderm, inside. Each of these layers gives rise to specific structures in the developing embryo. In humans the mesoderm is split by a layer called the coelom. This allows space for more complex organs such as heart, lungs and kidneys to develop. Ectoderm, skin, nervous system. Coelom, heart, lungs. Mesoderm, muscles, skeleton. Endoderm, inner lining of digestive system. The amnion. The amnion. When first formed the amnion is in contact with the embryo, but at about the 4th or 5th week fluid begins to accumulate within it, amniotic fluid. The primary function of the amnion and amniotic fluid is the protection of the embryo for its future development. 4 to 5 weeks after fertilization, the heart forms and starts to beat. The brain also develops. The limbs have started to form. By the 6th week eyes are visible, the mouth, nose and ears are forming. The skeleton is at the early stages of development. By the 8th week the major body organs are formed. Sex glands have developed into testes or ovaries. Bone is beginning to replace cartilage. By the 8th week. At this stage the embryo has taken on a recognizably human form. From this point it is referred to as a fetus. The fetus continues to grow. No new organs are formed from this point. By the 12th week, 3 months, the nerves and muscle become coordinated, allowing the arms and legs to move. The fetus sucks its thumb, urinates and even releases feces into the amniotic fluid. By the 12th week, 3 months. The gender of the fetus can be seen in scans. The time from fertilization to birth, the gestation period, lasts about 38 weeks, 9 months. Learning check. What are germ layers? Name them. What features have already appeared by the 5th week? At what stage is the developing individual referred to as a fetus? Placenta formation. Placenta formation. Placenta formation. The placenta forms from a combination of the tissues of the uterus and the embryo. Soon after implantation, a membrane called the chorion completely surrounds the amnion and embryo. The chorionic villi emerge from the chorion and invade the endometrium, allowing the transfer of nutrients from maternal blood to fetal blood. This combination of the chorionic villi and the endometrium will eventually form the placenta, which becomes fully operational about 3 months into the pregnancy. The placenta, chorion, embryo, placenta, mother's blood, amnion. Nutrients: oxygen, antibodies. Wastes: carbon dioxide, water. Amnion: amniotic fluid. Umbilical cord. Embryo's blood. Embryo: placenta allows gases, nutrients, waste, antibodies, some drugs, hormones and microorganisms to be exchanged between mother and baby. Placenta also produces hormones. Blood supplies of mother and embryo do not mix. Blood types may not be compatible. Mother's blood pressure might damage embryo. Umbilical cord connects the embryo with the placenta. It takes blood from the embryo to the placenta and back again. It must be cut at birth to separate mother and baby. 45 seconds after birth. Syllabus. Learning check. Name the structures that move into the endometrium and eventually become part of the placenta. At what point does the placenta become fully operational? Why is it important that the blood of the mother and baby do not mix?